Here I'm going to show how to flatten the seat for the perch that we're showing in the series on the blog. This is a piece of eastern white pine. I've got to adjust it a little bit deeper. You don't want to take too light a cut in the beginning here. And you can see I'm focusing my cuts on the center of the board, which is the cup side up. So it's a little bit rounded, so by creating a flat zone in the middle, I'll make it a lot easier for myself to spread that flatness all the way to the edges. I do this by taking a series of alternating strokes all the way down the board, always going relatively cross-grain, and holding the plane at a skew. I never quite push it straight across. It takes in a lot more information if you hold it at a skew to the direction you're pushing it. Once I start to get it to the full width of the board, I check for a twist. You can see it's right there because those two straight edges don't intersect at the same point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take strokes across from one high corner to the other. This is how I get rid of that twist. And I'll make it all the way across there. And then I'm going to go straight across from one high corner to the other. Although I'm pretty much blocking the camera here. I'm just going from one corner to the other, just trying to knock some of that material off of there. After I've done that for maybe 2 strokes all the way across that area, I'm going to go and take strokes along the entire board. This will help even everything out and give me an opportunity to check to see if I've taken that twist out. And most importantly, I want you to notice that right here, I take strokes all the way to the very last little corner. That's very important. Once I've got it pretty well flat, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my number 7 joiner plane. And you'll see it didn't take very heavy strokes in the beginning there, but as I get it more and more flat, it'll take more and more strokes. That's because of the curved blade on the scrub plane. And here you can see it's taking nice full width shavings and giving me a much smoother surface than before. But it's still worth a good check to see if I took that twist out, or if there's a small twist that I can now take out with the more fine tool. But I'm just going to go ahead and smooth out the surface one last time and get it ready to be marked to do the opposite side. Now that I've got one flat surface, it makes an easy reference for me to mark off to the other one. And once all the sides are marked, this is going to be just the opposite. Because the board had a cup to it, the plane is mainly going to hit the 2 edges, not the middle. And I'll just keep removing material from the edges until it can take a full stroke across the center there. And this time, as opposed to the 2 straight edges, I've got that reference mark on the edge of the boards to guide me. Makes it pretty easy. You can see I'm just now getting to the point where it's going to take a full width stroke all the way across there. And once that's done, I'm going to go ahead, just like before, and finish it off with a much finer tool that can also take in a lot more information, which is my number 7 joiner. Now that all that's done, I'm going to get out my template. I'm going to go ahead and trace the outline of it onto the board. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my awl to mark each of the legs, as well as the sight lines, as well as a couple of small holes I'll mark to help me determine the depth at the center of the carving of the seat. Once that's done, I'm just going to connect up these sight lines here at the back. It's still tough for me to get used to the fact that all these legs pitch to the front, but a little focus will help make everything turn out okay. I go ahead and circle everything that's going to be drilled for a leg, and then I'm going to get my old egg beater out here, which I'd keep a drill bit in with a nice piece of tape on it to mark. I'm going to go about 5/8 of an inch deep on this, on those 2 marks I'd made. And now it's time to mark each one with the proper number so I don't get confused. And I'm going to set up my mirrors to help me drill this. I set up one that's going to be perpendicular to my sight line. And then I set up one that's parallel to the sight line. It's important to use only the sight line that's going to the hole you're drilling. You can see I set the square on the one that's perpendicular. And here I'm going to set my bevel to 10 degrees, or 100 degrees as it were, and put it next to the one that's going parallel to the sight line. Now it's time to take my 1/2 inch drill bit and start drilling, high speed. Good sharp brad point will help here. And you can see how I'm going to get to use my mirrors here, sort of like friends in the shop, just looking back at me to guide me through that. And miraculously, I drill one hole and 3 come out, and the seat is done.